refuse to rest on the 7th day. The A's Sundays have been blessed with a pair of miraculous comebacks. Yesterday, the amazing Eric Burns extended the magic to Saturday with a stunning shot. A's fans haven't seen a hitting streak like his in a month of Sundays. Will Sunday be fun day for the A's again? They take on the Royals next. The Major League's longest current hit streak now belongs to Mr. Excitement, Eric Burns, who hit blackjack yesterday, getting ready in his own way. And Mr. Cy Young, Barry Zito, also getting ready in his own way, looking to rack up a few Z's here at Kauffman Stadium on a Sunday afternoon. It's the finale of a four-gamer between the A's and the KC Royals. Good Sunday morning to you. Welcome to A's Baseball here on Fox Sports Net alongside Ray Fosse. I'm Greg Papa. We've had a couple of wild Sundays in a row. What will today bring? But we may have used up our weekend quota of wildness yesterday. Ray's 7-6 thriller highlighted by Eric Burns in the top of the ninth. I thought it was the most exciting game of the year, bar none.
And a great way to end the month of May, a positive record for the Athletics. But Eric Burns, he's been doing it. But watch this, dropping the head of the bat on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball from McDougal. And Terrence Long almost got caught. Burns, he was so excited running the bases, he actually sprinted around the bases to get back in the dugout to get the congratulations from his teammates. But what a great victory for the Athletics, especially coming behind once again the way they did.
He went around the bases faster than Terrence Long did on the inside the park home run, I think, early in the year. He is flying. Why not? A 21-game hit streak. Barry Zito 2-0 with a 2.18 in his career against the KC Royals, against Chris George today, a fellow left-hander, as he looks to put the Royals bats to sleep and win 3 out of 4 on the weekend.
Baseball is brought to you by Comcast, proud to be the Bay Area's new cable company. Call 1-800-COMCAST for cable TV and high-speed internet service. By Jack in the Box, where we don't make it till you order it. By Nextel, how business gets done. Call 1-800-NEXTEL-9. By MGD, cold filter what you don't need, keep what's good, MGD. And by your local Bay Area Mercedes-Benz dealers, who remind you that's life here. We're part of it.
One last game to go here at beautiful Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. The A's, after a 17-10 April, went 14-3 in May, and here on the first day of June, they are 31-23 overall, trying to make it 3 out of 4 this weekend, and the A's will bat this way. Of course, Eric Burns, with Kenny Lofton losing his 26-game hit streak yesterday. Burns now the longest current hit streak in baseball, 21 in a row, in a dramatic way to extend it yesterday in the ninth with a homer to put the A's on top. As Jermaine Dye back in the lineup till at 5th, Eric Chavez 6th, and then it's Ramon Hernandez, Mark Ellis, and Adam Pyatt Ray will bat 9th, and again against another lefty. Chris George goes today for the Royals.
But very similar to the lefty they faced yesterday in Darrell May. A lefty will change speeds. He will do a lot of different things, but he has to be very fine with his control, just because of the inability to throw hard, especially with his fastball.
And the first pitch of the game misses outside. He will try to hit that outer corner against the right-handed hitters all day, like he gets a called strike there from Matt Hollowell. And the count is a ball and a strike on Eric Burns. Burns, since taking over as an everyday player with the injury to Jermaine Dye in late April. Remember, he started with a little hit streak. He hit an 8 in a row right away. Then he had a stretch of 4 games where he only had 2 hits, and then he went off on this streak, a 21-gamer. Nomar Garcia-Parra lost his 26-gamer on Tuesday, and Kenny Lofton took an 0 for 5 yesterday in St. Louis. 1-2 pitch. Eric Burns will flip it foul.
You know, Eric Burns is very sincere when he said he went in the top of the 9th inning just trying to find a way to get on base or get a run in. He was not thinking about the hitting streak. If it meant a walk, getting hit, he'll do anything. He is such an unselfish player, and it's all for real.
Mr. Excitement is also Mr. Genuine, as he turns on this one and drives one to left field deep in the corner. 22 in a row for Burns, and back-to-back homers on at-bats.
Wow.
The late game drama yesterday for Eric Burns, and he opens the game today with his second career leadoff home run. 1-0 A's.
It's unbelievable. Fouled a tough pitch. He tried to go inside, made a mistake, left it out over the middle of the plate. Look where DeFelice goes in and where the ball ends up, not only in the middle of the plate but in the seats. And Burnsy just keep doing it.
Well, he gets that out of the way right away now. 22 in the books. Hatteberg. That's a nice backhand play by Mendy Lopez. Drops the ball but recovers, and Chris George there in time. Mendy Lopez, a late addition to the Royal lineup, as initially they had Ken Harvey over at first base, but Ken's mom not doing well. She suffered a stroke a couple of years ago, and she's been in poor health all week, and Ken had to leave the ballpark today, and Mendy Lopez goes right in, Ray, and makes a nice play.
He had a great game yesterday. Really helped the Royals take the lead. Stolen base, stolen home. Very exciting player like Eric Burns.
Now here's Miguel Tejada very quietly in the shadow of Eric Burns' now 22-game hit streak. Miguel has an 11-gamer. Hit all weekend here against the Royals. The batting average is up to .226. And one hit to Lopez, and he'll take it for the second out of the inning.
Let's take a look at the Mercedes keys to the game, and well, that first one, Burns, baby Burns, he is unbelievable, and yes, he already is in this game with a leadoff home run to give the A's a 1-0 lead. And tell you, the A's have played well. Success here at Kauffman Stadium and against the Royals. Want to continue that. And for Barry Zito, don't do what Chris George just did. Leave a home run ball right in the middle of the plate.
No, don't burn the pasta. So Barry Zito right away has the 1-0 lead. Barry, last dozen runs he has given up, 10 have been on home runs. And we'll see how the ball carries today. It's much warmer today, at least to start the game, than it was yesterday at the start of the game. It's 75 degrees at first pitch today here in Kansas City, Missouri. Not quite as hot as Mr. Burns. Rubio Durazo lost a 7-game hit streak yesterday. Unfortunately, we were not able to bring you the game on TV yesterday. And Ray and Bill King and Ken Korak, I know, had fun on radio. Without a doubt, Ray, I thought it was the most exciting game of the year. What a game. Desi Rutherford bobbles, has a great arm, but you can't do that. Very nonchalantly, he came over to make that play, underestimating Rubio's speed, I think, and then he bobbled the ball for a rather sloppy air.
Credit to Durazo for running hard, forced the issue, but you're right. I don't think Rutherford realized that Durazo can get down the line. Got in front of the ball, but there is very casual. And then a bobbling, and even with a strong arm, could not throw out Durazo.
Is that one of those times, Ray, where your strength is also your weakness? Because he has the great arm, he's thinking, I don't have to go so fast. I'll make it up the last 10 feet by just rifling him out.
A lot of guys would do it, especially guys on the left side of the infield, short and third, rely too much on their strong arms.
That gives Jermaine Dye a chance to pick up his first base hit upon his return this weekend in Kansas City, his former home. So Durazo with the air with 2 outs, now down to second base, and Jermaine Dye, who went 0 for 4 on Friday night, picks up a single.
Yesterday, good day for Jermaine to take off, as Tony Pena saw his club lose another heartbreaker to the A's last Sunday. Also with Durazo tying the game in the 9th inning, Burnsy winning it in the 9th yesterday, and mistakes yesterday on both sides of the field. Hurt the A's, also hurt the Royals, and to be honest, it was an ugly game. And unfortunate for the A's to win a ball game that they gave up really too many runs where they shouldn't have.
To Pena's credit, though, he runs Angel Baroa right out there again after a couple of costly errors. The Kansas City Star, the front page of the sports section, agony of defeat 2. As last Sunday, of course, it was Durazo with the game extending home run at the bottom of the 9th. A's down to their last strike, their last out, and again yesterday down to their last out. Eric Burns on a 1-0 pitch hits the big 3-run homer.
Guys didn't have a pair of scissors. You just rip it out.
Isn't it? I ripped it out nicely, though. Wasn't that beautiful?
No.
I almost did it too quickly, but that's called art. That's Tommy Edza doing his thing. 0-2 pitch to Eric Chavez. Count is 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And we had a shot of Eric Burns on the bench Friday when the A's were down, and actually Terrence Long pinched hit for him, hit the 3-run home run. And I said, you were upset, weren't you? And he said, yeah, I was. He said, because I knew we were going to come back and I wanted to be a part of it. They didn't quite come back, but yesterday they did.
Mike DeFelice behind the plate today as Chavez lifts this one to center field. Carlos Beltran shades down, comes in, and he will make the catch, and that's the inning. What a way to start, though. Eric Burns, number 22, with a home run to open the game, and the A's have a 1-0 lead. And 26 will hit this way. We'll highlight Carlos Beltran at a home run here on Friday night. A good series overall, 5 for 8. And he's driven in 3. This one just over the wall beyond the reach of Jermaine Dye on Friday, and the only game the Royals have won on this series. That was the 11-6 game. A's won 6-1 here Thursday night, and of course yesterday in the drama, the 7-6 come from behind win. And now they're up 1-0 as Barry Zito goes to work against Desi Rutherford. Rutherford starting at second base. He was 2 for 4 on Thursday night, 1 for 5 on Friday night, and yesterday came off the bench in a pinch hit role and picked up a hit. 3-0. Zito falls behind right away.
3 pitches, 3 fastballs, 3 out of the strike zone.
Make it 4. A rather odd 4-pitch walk for Mr. Zito. Let's check out the A's defense, brought to you by McDonald's. Eric Burns now with a 22-game hit streak, but Miguel Tejada has a 21-game airless streak at short. And what a play he made on Ken Harvey in the bottom of the 9th. If that ball gets past, the game is tied. What a brilliant catch that was.
Great way to end the game with a great defensive play. Great home run. Terrence Long had a little trouble with the sun in right field. It seems like the sun follows him, whether it's in left or right.
Yesterday's game had it all. Wild ups and downs. Joe Randa trying to pick up his bat a little bit, hitting a 2 1/4 on the year. That one fought off foul back into the crowd. Barry Zito began the road trip Tuesday night at the Metrodome in Minneapolis. Thought he was going to pick up his 7th win of the year. Ray had great stuff, maybe the best stuff we've seen him have, but gave up a couple of homers, the big one late to Bobby Kelty, and the A's with a heartbreaking loss, 4-3 on Tuesday night.
And I think we might see a different Barry Zito with regard to pitching a particular game and having an idea how he's going to pitch. And see the numbers in his last start in the loss to the Twins. But, you know, in talking to him after the game and about his great curveball that he had, striking out 5 of the 10, and with the plan to pitch to Bobby Kelty and not throw him a curveball. And so I think what you see in the future, that even if he has a great curveball working and the plan might not call for it, you might see him throw it, and he should. He ended up giving up a home run on a fastball that he tried to throw inside.
Joe Randa yanks this one down the line, and he just will hook it around that pole foul. Just missed it. Well, he turned on that one and really hit it hard, but just missed the pole.
Low fastball, almost identical to Eric Burns yesterday, only the difference here, Randa out in front because Zito's fastball is about 89. McDougall was at 96, and Burns, he couldn't get that far in front of him.
Big curveball, and Randa waves at that one. Beautiful pitch by Zito to pick up his first strikeout of the day.
First one of the day, first curveball, and a beautiful one. That's outside. You know how hard that is to come out and throw nothing but fastballs, and then all of a sudden drop a hook and to throw it perfectly. And there's the curveball grip for Barry Zito. Thumb on the seam, and then the rotation is just unbelievable.
And he throws his a little differently, he says. Most guys usually get the spin from the index finger, but he gets the spin from the middle finger, huh?
Yes.
There goes the runner, Rutherford. Pitch up and away. Ramon's throw will bounce. Ellis will block it enough, so no advancement. Desi Rutherford with the quick stolen base into scoring position.
Did we show that in slow motion?
The whole thing took a little while.
Yeah, it seemed like that first move, as runners will do against lefties, and Ramon probably realized he didn't have a chance. Good job of Mark Ellis getting his body in front of the ball to keep it on the infield.
7th stolen base of the year for Rutherford. The batter is Mike Sweeney, of course, their tremendous number 3 hitter. Rutherford having a perfect year on steals. Zito falls behind him 2-0. Raul Ibanez is on deck. He's a left-handed batter. The A's will be very careful how they pitch to Sweeney, the Royal captain, who has reached base either by a hit or a walk in 32 in a row, the longest streak currently in baseball. He's got a little hitting streak going now. There's a strike.
And Sweeney, even though he has the power, he is not strictly a pull hitter. Yesterday in the 9th inning, going to right field with a base hit, unhittable curveball that he takes for strike one.
Actually, I was happy he picked up just a base hit. I thought it was all set up for him to do something big against Keith Falk, but he singled to right to keep it alive. It's this one to right again, a base hit. Rutherford was going back towards second to make sure the ball got through, so he won't score on that. He goes to third. Sweeney make it 33 straight games either by a hit or a walk as he singles.
Well, the one thing it does, by keeping the runner at third, sets up a double play. Barry Zito, although he admits he's not a ground ball pitcher, gets one on the ground, can get out of the inning, but the infield kind of bunching Sweeney towards the middle, and I think you have to play him a little bit more to hit the opposite field if you go to pitch him away.
Well, the A's get one for Barry in the top on the leadoff homer by Burns, but the Royals are threatening with Rutherford at third and Sweeney at first. The batter is Raul Ibanez, who ducks at the first one. Ibanez was not in Tony Peña's lineup yesterday against Ted Lilly, but he is in today. It's this one to left field, pretty well struck in the corner. Pyatt way back, warning track. He can't get it. It's past him. Rutherford scores. They're going to wave Sweeney in. He will score. To third goes Ibanez, and the Royals have the lead at 2-1. Adam Pyatt never quite got back on the wall to make the catch. It goes as a 2-run triple for Ibanez.
Like Sweeney, Ibanez going opposite field on pitches away from him, and Adam just drifted with the ball. He didn't go to where he thought the ball was going to be coming down, and as a result approached the wall, came up short. Catchable ball. He just did not get to it.
The batter is Carlos Beltran, and over third base Ibanez. Ken Maka, interestingly here, lines the defense. The right side of the infield is in, and the left side, Tejada, is deep at short. And the theory being here, if Beltran goes the other way, he's probably not going to hit it all that sharply, that they could make a play on the right side. But if he does hit it to the left side, it's going to be a pretty well struck ball. 1-1 pitch. Beltran fouls it straight back. So a little like Tim Hudson's start here on Friday night. Not quite as dramatic. The A's got 2 for Huddy in the top of the first on Friday, and the Royals came back with 3 in the bottom, Ray, but get the early homer by Burns to take the 1-0 lead, and the Royals come right back with a 2 spot.
I think Ramon got hit with a follow through by Beltran, shaking his left arm.
1-2 pitch. Big curveball tapped by Beltran, coming down the line to score, and no play is Ibanez. Ball got past Zito. It's an infield hit for Beltran. He picks up the RBI, his 23rd of the year, and the Royals lead 3-1.
Well, he's looking for a strikeout, but left the curve up, and I think he looked up thinking that Xavi was going to be there to take it. It's going to be tough for Zito or Chavez to throw out the speedy Beltran.
Well, Zito throws a nasty curveball, and Beltran just tops it, but dribbles it down the line enough to not only bring in the run, but also reach base himself. There's some bad events for Zito here in the inning. And the Royals strike for 3. Here's Mendy Lopez, who had a big game yesterday with a couple of hits. Also stole home. Yes, indeed. He became the 6th Royal in history to have a straight steal of home, not part of a double steal. Beltran was the runner at first base, but Lilly threw to first, and at that very moment, Lopez And the instruction of third base coach John Miserock, Foss took off.
Yeah.
1-0 pitch. Zito trying to nick the outer corner, misses and falls behind. Fouled off. 2-1 to Mendy Lopez.
I'm surprised the play that Lopez pulled off yesterday is not used more, especially with lefties. Such an easy play, because even if you think about it as a pitcher, you see the runner get off a little bit too far at first, instinctively you're going to say, well, I'm going to pick him off. And it's just good timing. Once the pitcher does throw to first, the guy can just walk down the line. Although Hatteberg made a great play, and I think a block of home plate by Hernandez would have possibly gotten Lopez's play.
Nice pitch there. Lopez out in front at 2-2, and all the elements were there. Brent Mayne was the batter. He's been struggling since coming back from the flu bug that had him missing 3 games in a row. Mayne later in the game with a terrific block on Scott Hatteberg to get it out at the plate. 2-2 now on Mendy Lopez. Ramon moves in. Runner takes off. Pitch up. Ramon's throw bounces again. Beltran steals. Second stolen base of the inning for the Royals. Rutherford picked up his 7th, and now Beltran is 9th.
Actually, Ramon had a much better chance. You could see that the jump was not as good, and for some reason the strength in Ramon's arm was not there. To the first one, when he tried to rush, it's understandable, but this one looked like he had a better chance.
Beltran, a little right hand problem there as he went in. Does not use the sliding gloves. This one's popped up by Mendy Lopez in the infield. Mark Ellis under it at second base makes the catch for the second out. Carlos Beltran, 9 out of 10 this year on steals. Coming into this year, 87%. He is successful trying to steal bases. That is the best among all active players in baseball. Batter now is Michael Tucker, who's had a pretty good weekend against the A's. Drove in 5 runs here on Friday night in their big win, and tied a career best. Talked about the block of Brent Mayne. It was a throw from Michael Tucker in right field yesterday that gunned down Scott Hatteberg at the plate. Going back to the spring, there was talk about making Michael Tucker a second baseman. Right, here's the big game he had on Friday night. The homer off of Tim Hudson, a 3-run shot.
Well, the similarities you're talking about with Huddy and Zito today, and both leaving the pitches out in the zone.
That's the one he had later in the game, the big 2-run that doubled after the A's. It made it a 9-6 game. That doubled in the 8th made it 11-6. So 5 RBIs for Tucker, tying a career best that last achieved April of '97 when he was a member of the Braves over in the National League. A lot of pitches here for Barry Zito. Count is 3-1. Zito is going to throw his 30th pitch of the inning coming up. Not a very good ratio.
And what Barry's done in this inning, unfortunately for him, he's gotten the Royals hitters to where they can think fastball, and so far I've not seen many, if any, changeups from Barry. Just 1 or 2 curveballs and mostly fastballs.
Here's a curveball, and Tucker lifts one to left. Pyatt came in, now gets back, and he is under it to make the catch. 31 pitch, laborious bottom of the first for Zito. The Royals get 3 and lead 3-1 after 1. Start for Barry Zito's workday, giving up 3, and the A's down 3-1. When you're next at work during the afternoon on a Thursday, we got a special deal we want to tell you about. But Ramon Hernandez going to lead off here, takes a strike from Chris George. Ramon, then Mark Ellis and Adam Pyatt in the A's lineup today. Count is 1-2 on Ramon Hernandez. Ramon, a big base hit in the 9th inning, or not in the 9th inning, but late in the game that looked like it was going to be able to tie the game. That was the play where Hatteberg was tossed out actually in the 8th inning against Sean Lowe yesterday. He's seeing lefty Chris George for the first ever time. He's 5-4 with a 6.39 ERA for the Royals. Actually began the year at AAA Omaha, where he was 0-4 with an ERA of 5.60 at AAA, but they called him up. He's up with that pitch, and the count is 2-2.
Be interesting to see how Matt Hollowell, the home plate umpires, deals with both Zito and George, the lefties.
And it'll be taken out of the air. Line drive shot right to Desi Relaford for the first out here at the top of the 2nd. As we were saying, next time you're at work during the afternoon of Thursday, deke out early. A's are having a new business person special. Field level seats are half price with a gold bond proof of purchase. The next business person special will be on June the 12th when the A's take on the Atlanta Braves. For details, get to the nearest Long Drugs. Mark Ellis against Chris George. Former Royal Paul Byrd is a member of the Atlanta Braves, but has not pitched with them all year. And it looks like the A's will not be seeing him. He's not going to be back until late June. He had 5 bone chips and a bone spur removed from his elbow back in April. He was the Royal All-Star last year along with Mike Sweeney and 17-game winner.
Started the game in which the A's won their 20th consecutive. Blown out early in the game. Of course, the Royals did come back.
1-2 pitch.
Pitch about Matt Hollowell, the home plate umpire. We have talked about the east and west pitches not being called side to side, but up and down, yes. But if he gives George the outside part of the plate or off the plate, that could help him tremendously. George does not overpower you with his fastball. If he has to come to the middle of the plate, it can get hurt more.
Matt Hollowell is a vacation fill-in AAA umpire. Oh, Mark Ellis chasing one there, and he strikes out. Mark took it 0 for 4 yesterday, and he strikes out his first at-bat today. 2 away.
Pitch was supposed to be in and just jumped to the pit. He knew he swung at ball 3. Looked like he was trying to protect against the fastball, and the last instance saw the break of the ball and just wanted to try to foul it off.
Now Adam Pyatt, who was in there today against the lefty, but hitting at 9th. A's are seeing more and more lefties. So Pyatt is getting some starts consecutively. The first 24 games of the year, the A's just saw 2 lefties. Jamie Moyer and Jared Washburn. They are seeing their 13th left-hander in Chris George today, Ray, over the last 31 games. And they've seen some pretty good lefties. CC Sabathia a couple of times, Mark Burley a couple of times, David Wells, Andy Pettit, Kenny Rogers twice, Darrell May, who was pretty good again yesterday. The A's have seen him twice. Now seeing young Chris George for the first ever time. Pyatt the other way, and that'll drop down for a base hit in the corner. Michael Tucker will pick it up, but Pyatt's on his way to second base. Picks up Wash and then stops. As Tucker a little slow to get it off the wall. But with 2 outs, Pyatt will stop at second base with a double. And that'll keep it alive for the hottest hitter in baseball right now, Eric Burns, who opened the game. No late game drama today to extend the hit streak force. Right away, number 22 was extended.
Well, as it did yesterday, I don't know if McDougall was trying to intentionally pitch him in yesterday or just throwing a good fastball, but lefty today tried to and missed. And Eric Burns is finally getting respect because the fans are booing him. And that's a sign of respect in a visiting park when they boo you, because they know you're good.
And Pyatt gives him an at bat here in the second. A's are down 3-1. And so much has made Eric Burns' enthusiasm and the way he plays the game as well as it should. But he's a very smart baseball player. I ran into him yesterday, Ray, walking around the plaza here in downtown Kansas City. And he was saying that he visualized the ninth inning at bat against McDougal before it even happened. He had a feeling he'd get that fastball, and he hit a home run. It turned the whole game around on it. Flies out lazily to right this time to Tucker, and the A's strand Pyatt at second at the end of 1 1/2. 3-1 Kansas City. His first pitch here of the bottom of the second, a fastball he throws right past Angel Baroa. Zito gave up 3 in the bottom of the first. 2 on a triple by Raul Ibanez that escaped the reach of Adam Pyatt off the left field wall. Baroa goes down and flips one to right center. Burns coming over, and he'll make the catch for the first out. Somewhat surprising whenever Zito gives up runs, Ray, but especially against these hitters. Barry is 2-0 with an ERA of 2.18 in 5 career starts against the Royals. Beat him last year a couple of times, and really nobody in their lineup hits him.
But if you look at the pitches that he's given up hits on today, they've been up. And it really doesn't matter. If he's got his good stuff, the numbers are going to remain the same. But mistakes happen, and good hitters hit mistakes.
Up there against Mike DeFelice today. DeFelice, the right-handed hitting catcher they have. The lefty Brent Mayne not in there. There's a strike to DeFelice. Places the fastball beautifully there and gets his called strike 2. There he works from the far third base side of the rubber.
I think always interested to see how pitcher comes back the next inning after that's such a great inning. And of course, Rick Peterson, the A's pitching coach, talking to Barry between innings, and just see what kind of adjustments he makes coming out of this inning. So far, good. As Rick Peterson obviously saw something that Barry was doing, caused him to get the ball up.
Threw a changeup there. Didn't throw too many changeups in the first inning.
Such a great pitch for him, especially in his last start when all 3 pitches were working.
That'd be the curveball, wouldn't it? And there it is. Barry's curveball Tuesday night in Minneapolis, Ray, was just outstanding. As you noted, he had 10 strikeouts in total, 5 on the curveball, but he threw it harder than he typically throws it. After a shake, he's got one he likes. 2-2 to DeFelice. And there was a fastball, low fastball that DeFelice fouls out of play.
See the difference in the hitter and how he reacts to the pitch down around the knees versus up belt high. Again, if Barry threw 95, the belt high or even letter high fastball would work, but to get in the 88, 89 mile per hour range, it's not going to work.
And he blows one by him there with a high fastball up and in. And Zito looks sharp now. The first 2 outs recorded here in the second. He strikes out DeFelice.
And this is good location. Got it in, got it up, and DeFelice swung right through it. No chance for that one to come back in the middle of the plate.
That'll bring on the leadoff man, Desi Rutherford, who walked to open the game on 4 pitches, and stole second base and scored on the Ibanez triple.
The breeze picked up yesterday and the same today, and just looking at the flags, ball that Ibanez hit the left field, no doubt aided by the wind and taken away from Adam Pyatt.
Rutherford down the line in right field. Ball's going to go foul, though.
Those are things that outfielders, infielders have to look at just to see what the elements are for the day. Sometimes pick up some grass, just see the way the wind is blowing.
Another cloudy day here in Kansas City. It was sweltering hot here on Friday. And it cooled off dramatically yesterday. It was very cool when the game started yesterday. Didn't warm up until the 8th inning, right around the time the A's came alive. A little warmer today, but not sunny.
Pretty good hitting weather, though, as far as cloudy, no glare from the sun. There's the pitch we're talking about. Just on the outside. The pitch is not being called a lot by the umpires. Ramon hardly moves his glove, and Hollowell is set up right over it.
Now, that's frustrating for Zito and Ramon. That should be able to help the A's hitters out. This ball's pooched to shallow right. Shades down as Ellis makes the backpedaling catch into shallow right to make it. And the A's get out of the second with a 1-2-3. At the end of 2, it is still 3-1 KC. A's down 3-1 as they are wrapping up what has turned out to be a rather tumultuous weekend here in Kansas City. All the talk in the papers this week that you've been reading back home, directly or indirectly, involved the A's making a move last night. I don't know if you caught this, but the A's have relieved Thad Bosley of his duties as the A's hitting instructor, effective immediately. He was not with the club yesterday for the big comeback win. And Dave Hudgens, who is currently the A's assistant director of player development and the A's former hitting coach, is going to join the club in Florida. He was with the A's in '99. Mock knows him well from their time there. Hannibal pops this one to Randa. Randa right on the line will make the catch and technically foul ground for the first out. But Hudge will not get to Miami until tomorrow, I guess. So Brad Fisher's picking up some of the duties, Ray, but obviously Thad Bosley, a guy we all grew very close to the last few years, an unfortunate situation.
Yeah, and I know Miguel Tejada in some of the Bay Area papers talking about how much Boz had helped him, and I think to the point of teaching him the 2-strike hitting and the approach going to the opposite field, and Boz did an excellent job with a lot of the hitters. And it's unfortunate, but we wish him the best. He did a very good job, as Ken Maka said, go to the playoffs the last 3 years. He contributed a lot to this club.
The appeal, no swing, says the first base umpire Bill Hahn. Count as a ball and a strike on Miguel. And Mock said this morning the decision to relieve that of his duties not performance related. Yeah, obviously you read some of the stories, starting with a Tribune story midweek and a Chronicle story later in the week. And I think some things were said that were impossible to go back the other way. Billy Beane's quote: "For the best of the organization, we thought it was time to go in a different direction. We would like to thank Thad for his contributions for the past 5 years and wish him all the best in his future endeavors." The A's are not going to reassign him, as far as I understand. That's a walk. Miguel Tejada gets the walk on a 3-1 pitch.
That's a good pitch not to swing at. We talked about the outside part of the plate that George has to rely on to be successful, and unlike Mark Ellis, who swung the pitch away from him, Miguel took the fastball away and a 1-out walk to start the inning.
Here's a Rubio Durazo. He reached on the air by the second baseman Desi Relaford, his first at bat. It's obviously somewhat of a difficult time for this to occur, Ray, because Billy and the front office very much spending almost all their hours getting ready for the amateur draft, which begins on Tuesday. It's a huge process that they have to prepare for. So it was somewhat of a distraction, not just for the club here on the road, but also for Billy in the front office. Durazo, a ground ball past the dive of Lopez and also past Tejada. He will motor onto third base after avoiding the ground ball. So the A's, with a walk and a single by Ruby, have the corners occupied against Chris George. Just 1 out, and Jermaine Dye coming up.
Well, no doubt the pitching of George went strictly against. The pitch was inside, and I don't know, you won't see in that picture where Tucker was playing, but over in right center. They expect Durazo to go right center to left field, and so Tucker had a long run to get to the ball. And of course the grass high in the outfield to slow it down, but fastball inside, we'll be able to pull it and to go against the defense.
And the grass here in the outfield as long as I can ever remember it here, and you really have to be careful. The ball will snake a lot on the outfielder, will not roll directly at you because of the length. It'll slide around a little bit. Jermaine Dye jumps on the first one, drives it to right center. Beltran back, tagging at third, and scoring will be Tejada. So Jermaine Dye picks up his first ribby upon his return, and the A's cut the deficit to 3-2. Durazo holds his ground at first. Jermaine picks up his 7th RBI in total on the season.
Good swing by Jermaine after a first at bat base hit. Used the big part of the field, and he hit it very deep to center field. So a good base running by Tejada to get to third, where a sac fly would score it.
Eric Chavez backs out of the way of a Chris George fastball. So Miguel, a leadoff walk. Good base running to avoid the ground ball by Durazo and still make it to third on Tucker, and then scores on Dye's sac fly. Chavez grounds one sharply foul. Eric Chavez not in the lineup yesterday. The A's are seeing back-to-back left-handers. He was not in against Darrell May. Frank Menachino made the start. Menachino hit a long home run deep into the A's bullpen. It was measured at 427 feet. Javi hitting 6th today. Just recently put in the 5th hole, now down to 6th against the left-hander with Dye back. Waiting for the appeal decision from Tim Timmons. No swing, 2-2. Chavez fly to center. His first time up against Chris George. He hammers one to right field here. A deep drive, and Chavez against the left-hander hits a 2-run homer. The A's are back on top at 4-3. Eric Burns homer to open the game, and Eric Chavez hits his 10th of the season here, Ray. Only his 3rd against a left-hander.
No doubt has the power, and George, as he did with Eric Burns, left to pitch up a hanging breaking ball to Chavez, and Eric did not miss it.
George gets that called on the outside edge. Here's the home run.
Look where it's supposed to be, and it left it middle of the plate in. Slider did not get to Mike DeFelice. And wow,
way out of here. It's 330 down the lines here. Ramon grounds one to the shortstop. Barreau has 15 errors on the year, but will make that play to conclude the inning. But the A's score 3 in the 3rd and have reclaimed the lead. Eric Chavez brings in the last 2 with this home run. 4-3 A's after 2.5. Those 3 in the 1st with 3 in the 3rd. The last 2 off the bat of Eric Chavez's 10th homer of the year. So Barry Zito has the lead back. Only has 6 hits against left-handed pitching all year, but 3 have gone the distance. Now Zito back on top by a run. Will face Joe Random, Mike Sweeney, and Raul Ibanez. Ground ball right to Miguel. And to Hatteberg, and Randa retired, 1 away. Zito in a nice roll now after giving up the little dribbler down the third base line for Beltran's hit. Ray, he has gotten a little hot now, retiring 6 in a row.
Kind of like Dave Stewart. Always
a rough first inning.
Yep. Settle down, and of course Barry's so good at figuring out what he's doing incorrectly, and just did not seem like he was in the good groove in the first inning, leaving the ball up.
A lot of the greats, including Mr. Stewart, for whatever reason, if they would struggle in a start, it would be right away. They just could not lock in to start. But as they say, if you don't get the good ones right away, you may not get them. Here's a great matchup. Barry Zito, Cy Young Award winner, against the 3-time All-Star Mike Sweeney. Barry keeps it away and falls behind 2-0. Sweeney does his deep knee bend as he gets in the box. And then lifts one to center field. And that will drop in for another hit. This guy's a hit machine. Not only reaching base every single game, but he gets hit after hit. He's 2 for 2 again today.
The outfielders play him a little bit deeper because of his power, and as a result gets jammed and drops one in front of Eric Burns. And Burns did a good job not trying to make the spectacular play. Keeps the double play in order.
Here's Raul Ibanez now with a fly ball to left that Adam Pyatt tracked into the corner, but the ball just carried on him all the way to the wall. And that was the most damaging of the Royal hits. Although Zito struggled in the first, throwing 31 pitches in total, he probably deserved a better fate. As that brought in a couple of runs, and then Beltran, just a dribbler off a curveball, brought in the third run. Zito falls behind 3-0 now. Royals have adopted the A's philosophy of trying to be more patient. There's a strike. I think most of baseball is trying to adopt this philosophy. The A's and Yankees also have been doing for years and years.
So that means the games will be quickened because pitchers will start throwing a lot of first pitch strikes and move right along.
Is that why it's quicker now?
Yeah. Well, scouts will say there's not as much offense.
Actually, the numbers are just about the same in runs, home runs, just about a little bit down. I think a tick down from last year. But the games are about 7 minutes shorter. Actually sat with a lot of the scouts yesterday, Foss, behind the plate. Your buddy Gordon Lakey was here.
Yeah, he told me you sat down there and bothered him the whole game. Couldn't do his work.
It wasn't me. It was that blonde behind us. Ball popped up to Burns in center. And he makes the catch as the ball drifted on him for the second out here of the third.
The center fielder.
Rusty Wallace is a former Winston Cup champion, one of NASCAR's greats. Beyond the Glory takes you inside the hidden world of sports' biggest stars. Rusty Wallace, Beyond the Glory, tonight at 8 right here on Fox Sports Net. Here's Beltran now. Zito misses away. Sun trying to break out after all. Beltran hit that curveball that is dribbled down the third base line. And he picked up the infield single and an RBI, scoring Sweeney, or actually Ibanez, from third. Takes this one to left, base hit. Well, Beltran is 2 for 2. Sweeney is also 2 for 2, advances to second base with 2 outs.
Well, it seems like if you can just keep Sweeney and Beltran in the park, take your chances with the rest of the lineup. Of course, Ibanez swinging the bat well, but in 3, 4, 5. Sweeney, Ibanez, and Beltran swinging the bat well, and it's a good hitting lineup the Royals have, and they're young pitching. They can keep them together. They have a bright future.
And this guy's swinging the bat pretty well. Mendy Lopez had a couple of hits yesterday. Royals already have 5 hits today. Yesterday in the loss they had 10. In the win on Friday night they banged out 14. And Thursday night they scored only a run, but they also had 9 hits in that game. Mendy Lopez popped out to second his first time tonight, or today it would be. There's a ball, count as a ball and a strike. Blocked by Ramon. Count is 2-1. No advancement from Sweeney. Moves in. Lopez chopper up the middle. Tejada there. He'll go to first and throw out Lopez to wrap up the inning. Couple of hits. Do Zito no damage in the third. At the end of 3, 4-3. Here comes Burns. Greg Papa, Ray Fosse back with you on this now technically back in the Bay Area Sunday afternoon. And he's leading 4-3 as we start the fourth. First pitch strike there from Chris George to Mark Ellis. Ellis hitting 8 today, struck out his first time up. Adam Pyatt on deck, and then Eric Burns. And he's getting a look at lefty Chris George for the first ever time. 23-year-old. It was a sandwich pick, as they call it in baseball, a compensation pick just after the first round back in '98. The Royals got him for the loss of Jay Bell when he signed on with the Diamondbacks. He was a high school pitcher on a Klein High School in 1998. Ellis pops this one to the shortstop. Angel Baroa waves everybody away and makes the catch. One away here in the A's fourth. Here on Fox Sports Net, that means it's time to bring out our Ducky. And our Aflac trivia question. Mendy Lopez with a straight steal of home yesterday. Straight steal, but overall steals, though. Just we'll count double steals and everything. He is the 4th Royal to steal home against the A's. We'd like the other 3 to be named. That's a hard one.
Against the A's.
Against the A's.
A's.
Well, but it's the Kansas City Royals.
That's true, too. So, yeah.
Well, you're taken out of that.
That's right.
Randa, can he make this play on Pyatt? Yes, he did. With help from Mendy. What a play by Randa. Struggling offensively after a quick start, but not defensively.
And what's remarkable, he's looking back because he slipped on the turf, on the ground, as he caught the ball. Watch this. Right there's where he slipped with his left foot, yet kept his balance. And a tremendous play by Lopez, because the bounce was a short one at first, not one that Randa maybe could have taken a longer bounce to help his first baseman, but he stretched and made a great play.
Well, he's having a great year defensively. He has not made an error all year.
Good play on the other end. That's what you hope for if you're making a short hop. Of course, the official score would have given him a base hit anyways. It's a very good official score here in Kansas City.
And I thought he made a right call on Burns's ball.
Yeah.
As Burns, of course, he kept the hit streak alive with a dramatic 9th inning homer, but he reached base in the 6th yesterday on a ground ball to the shortstop Baroa, and Baroa bobbled it a couple of times. Burns's speed, he beat it, Ray. But did you agree with that call, the error on the shortstop?
Yeah, because he had to go to his left just for a step or two, so he was in front of it, should have handled it. Interesting, Kenny Lofton had a similar play against the Pirates yesterday. I mean, against St. Louis, playing for the Pirates. Ground ball to the shortstop, bobbled it, and it's given an error.
Burns strikes out, and a fastball there by Chris George that surprised him. Time up. We'll come back and answer our Aflac question. A's up 4-3. Welcome back to Kansas City. You've had long enough to chew on our Aflac trivia question.
It's a quick inning.
Are you going to get this one?
No.
John Mayberry? No way. John Mayberry, obviously part of a double steal, the big first baseman. Craig Paquette, Pokey, the former A, and John Nunnally actually stole home 4 times in 1995. All of those were part of a double steal. There's a runner at first, runner at third, runner at first takes off, and it's a double steal. But yesterday, Mendy Lopez did it as a straight steal, even though Michael Tucker was on at first base. John Mayberry, I want to see the footage of that. Can you believe that one?
Put him in a race with Ken Harvey.
John Mayberry, the first big home run hitter they ever had here in Kansas City. Backhand, tough play. Tucker runs well. Tejada's going to make it, though. What a great play by Tejada. At first you thought he's got to catch that ball, otherwise he won't be able to make the play. A backhand, the ball actually was bobbled, and he still got enough on the off-balance throw.
And watch as he bobbles. Watch what he does right here. He gets over the top and knows he has to get a lot extra on the throw, and Hatterberg stretching on the other end. Great play by Tejada. Yesterday, an even better play to Rob Harvey on the base hit, which would at least tie the game.
That's your Carl's Jr. in your face, Michael Tucker, right here and now. Look at this play.
But to get the strength to go over the top. Think of Garcia Parr, the way he slings the ball from the side, but Tejada right over the top accurately. Get in the fast runner.
using those choppy steps to try to slow his momentum down. And that was a 3-0 pitch, keep in mind. Tucker swung at a 3-0 pitch and winds up getting robbed.
He broke his bat on it too, so it wasn't that great of a swing.
Angel Baroa lifts one to left field. Adam Pyatt now got to go back on the ball. He's getting fooled by the wind here. He came in and wound up going way back in the corner to make the catch. Two-way.
Pick up some grass, throw it in the air, and you can see which way the wind is blowing. You can tell.
You talking to me or to Adam Pyatt?
Well, through you.
All right, Adam. Look at those big white pennants up there. See?
Breaks in and then has to go back quite a distance. At least he caught it. That's the key.
Mike DeFelice. Tejada's going to catch this one going out of the shallow left. A quick 1-2-3 9-pitch hitting for Barry Zito. We played 4-3 A's. And just went yard out at the Little K here at Kauffman Stadium. And don't miss your chance, Little Leaguers, to come on out to the net on Sunday, June the 15th. Happens to be Father's Day. Get a hot dog, a bag of chips, a drink, and a game ticket for as little as $10 to watch the A's take on Vladimir Guerrero and the Montreal Expos. Here's Scott Hatteberg taking a breaking ball strike from Chris George. Up and in. Count as a ball and a strike on Scott, who was 0 for 2 today with a ground out to first and a foul out to third. Hatteberg 7 for his last 21, though, after that tough 0 for 12 stretch. Lifts this one to left. Raul Ibanez there. One out.
To lefties, Chris George drops down just enough. You have to concentrate on keeping the front shoulder in, and Hatteberg did. Got the ball down where he could not drive it so much to the opposite field.
You know, much merrier month of May for Miguel after his April struggles. Hit .295 in May. Tejada enters June with a batting average at .226, which may not sound a lot to you, but the guy was at .161, and even a few days before the end of April, I think he was at .157. At .226, he brings into play tonight the highest, or today, the highest since the second game of the year. Well, he's making some progress. Tejada straight back, and the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes.
If you look at the hits of late, which has helped him to get his average up, there have been hits that gone to the opposite field, pitches away from him. A 3-run home run yesterday away from him. He's had a couple of doubles to right field.
Boy, he got some carry on that home run. Your friend Gordon Lakey, the scout of the Phillies, was just amazed at that ball carried out of the ballpark to right field. This one to right field as well, and that is a foul ball, just foul.
See how he stayed back on the pitch inside with 2 strikes protecting, and instead of trying to go out and get the balls, and that's why he was striking out so much earlier and swinging at bad pitches, because instead of staying back and letting the ball come to him, he was trying to go out and get it, and so he could not recognize the breaking pitch.
Here's the home run yesterday, Ray. Look at this. Look where Tucker is. Look where the ball goes.
Came in, ended up to the right of the bullpen.
Now back to live action. Fly ball to center, deep, but Beltran's there. He makes everything look so easy out there. He's so smooth. 2 away here in the A's 5th inning, and he's going to fly to South Florida after the game. And the first time ever there'll be a Pro Player Stadium in Miami. We'll be with you for the final 2 games of the series, Wednesday and Thursday, against the Fish. The A's against the Marlins. I've never said that before. Wednesday and Thursday at 4 on Fox Sports Net, and we'll have the game for you on Action 36, Cable 6 on Tuesday night. History. And you know why this matchup is so compelling, Ray? A's against the Marlins.
Why is that?
They're the 2 best in the history of interleague play. The A's have the best record in interleague plays history. They always get hot right around this time of the year and just take off. And the Marlins have the 2nd best record all time in interleague play. So it's an interleague championship.
Comparison also, 2 clubs that run a lot of stolen bases. Marlins are going to be running, as they will continue, I'm sure. So Ramon and Adam Melhuse, who might be catching Tuesday in the first game of the series. Have to be ready for the Marlins and their speed.
Is he really? Brad Penny is going to pitch. The A's will see Brad Penny, Mark Redmond, who we know from his Tigers and before that Twins days, and Dontrell Willis, who I'm very anxious to see. Have you seen this guy?
Saw him on the highlights last night hitting a home run.
Got a little Vita blue in him,
Yes,
doesn't
he does.
Well, he winds it all up from the left side. He had his home run. Also, they won 3-2 in Miami over Cincinnati yesterday, Ray. He is from the Bay Area.
Yeah.
He's from Oakland, went to Encinal High School in Alameda.
It should be interesting. Through June, pitchers in the National League hit 14 home runs already this year. Of course, they will have the advantage over the American League teams in interleague play in National League parks.
Now, hold on a minute. Mulder's going to pitch Tuesday, though.
Yeah, but he hasn't picked up a bat until, what, a week ago?
Rubio Durazo grounds one. Big hop for Mendy Lopez, and that's a 1-2-3 fifth for Chris George. We're halfway through it in Kansas City. A's 4, Royals 3. Got to pick up a bag before we head off to Florida. 4-3. The A's lead. Barry Zito will come to work here in the bottom of the fifth. Desi Rutherford will lead it off. And he fouls one back. And we're talking about the A's swinging the bats in South Florida, Ray. That's what's on tap today. Brian and Brentwood. What's on tap at Fox Sports Net? Set the email question. What are the Athletics doing to prepare for interleague play? Here's a big curveball, whack foul.
Preparing not to get hurt. For the pitchers swinging the bats, not to get hurt.
Barry Zito's going to work Friday at the Vet in Philadelphia. He was getting ready. The A's had their early extra BP earlier on this series, and Barry Zito was out. Taking some swings. That's the night Mulder started, so Mulder did not get in the cage on Thursday. Pitch up and away from Barry, and the count is 2-2. Ken Marcus said when he was asked about Barry's in the cage the other day, said, not so good. He's a much better pitcher, folks. But judge for yourself. Let's see. A couple of bunt attempts coming up and a few swings. It's all right. Yep. That's not bad. Not bad, Ray, huh?
Yeah, he knows.
Bring him on.
He knows what's coming, and that's Brad Fisher throwing about 60.
Well, the good news is that Mulder is going to pitch in Florida. The National League East, boy, they're playing well. Florida playing a lot better. Philadelphia now over 500. They got great pitching in that division. What a great changeup there by Zito. And he strikes out Desi Rutherford for the first out here, the fifth. Barry beginning to lock in after giving up those 3 right away.
And this is a pitch that hitter, there's no doubt, Rutherford was fastball changeup, and just no chance. Everything looked just like the circle changeup or the fastball. Instead, it's the great circle changeup with a great release point from Barry.
The most underrated pitch in baseball. Everybody talks about his curveball. That changeup sets everything up. First one away to Joe Randa. Randa 0 for 2 this afternoon. All hit foul by Randa.
You put the A's pitchers instead of swinging the bat, they'd be thinking about the Braves they'll see at the Coliseum. There are 55 home runs in the month of May that they hit. This is a pitching ball club. Great pitching, but their offense this year is the biggest difference.
Yeah, they haven't missed Tom Glavine or Kevin Millwood all that much. And it's beginning to look like the first game of that series, Tim Hudson will start against Greg Maddux. Will that be fun? We'll all enjoy that. And even Hudson will have to enjoy that. He grew up a fan of the Atlanta Braves, right?
Yes, he is. Of course, you could say that about anybody across the country, because America's favorite team whenever they got on television every game.
Ball popped up. Eric Chavez will take it. And Joe Randa retired 2 away.
Changeup struck out Rutherford, and then a fastball in on the hands of Joe Randa for the 2 strikes. Protecting a little bit, and saw a little owie in his expression on his face.
The ball may have hit him had he not swung at it. It was in so tight. Well, Mulder's going to pitch Tuesday at Pro Player, and then again he'll pitch Sunday in the windup of next week's schedule. Hayes will be without the DH, of course. So although it's strictly happenstance the way Rick Peterson aligned the rotation, it turns out to be pretty smart. Obviously the best hitter, although Hudson's very good as well, but Mulder really swings the bat extremely well. He will go twice on this streak where the A's will play 6 in a row minus the DH. So in Florida, Mulder goes Tuesday, Hudson Wednesday, Lilly Thursday. And again for the Marlins, Brad Penny, Mark Redmond, and Alameda's Dontrell Willis. Mike Sweeney lifts this one to center field. Burns comes flying in. Ellis out. Ellis will make the catch, and that's a 1-2-3 for Barry Zito. Barry's now retired 7 Royals in a row. At the end of 5, 4-3 A's. In that 3-run third with a sacrifice fly and his first RBI back, and he's back in Kansas City to remain in our Pepsi spotlight today. He was a Royal from March the 27th of '97 to July the 25th of 2001. He made his only All-Star appearance here as a member of the Royals in 2000. Also won a Gold Glove here. And don't bring up the name Nafi Perez around here, folks. That's the guy they got in the 3-team deal with the A's, Rockies, and Royals. There's a strike, taking on 3-0.
Jermaine said after playing his first game on Friday, and he said just everything was kind of a whirlwind. But today a lot better, taking pitches as he did there for the walk, base hit his first at bat, and drove the ball well to center field.
Here he is as a member of the KC Royals. Home run. Well hit ball there by J.D. wearing his number 24. Look at that play. He was a Gold Glover here 2001 in right field. He was the first Royal elected to the All-Star team that 2000 year. He was elected first Royal since Bo Jackson made it back in the 80s. Eric Chavez reaching out, and that's caught by the shortstop Baroa as he cued one off the end of the bat. 1 away.
The catcher,
George tried to pitch Chavez away in his last at bat. This time he was successful. Xavi hit it off the end of the bat. And again, pitchers make mistakes. Good hitters take advantage of them.
Jermaine gets a pretty nice reaction when he comes back here. He's still very well received. Nothing like Johnny Damon. Remember when Johnny came back here as a member of the A's, and I was shocked at how these very nice people in the Midwest turned on him. And you bring up Johnny Damon's name around here, they go nuts. Ramon Hernandez hits this one hard, but right at the left fielder Ibanez. 2 outs.
It wasn't the difference there that Damon had a contract and they turned it down, whereas was Jermaine ever offered one to turn down?
He was entering the same phase of Johnny Damon's situation in the offseason, but never quite got there,
right,
where he was going to be arbitration eligible. They traded him midway through that season in July to the A's, where the Royals traded Johnny Damon in the offseason. They were similar situations, but I think maybe also that Damon went first and Dye followed.
But I think he had turned down, and they said they were prepared to take it about $35 million for 5 years that he had turned down.
Johnny Damon struggling with the Boston Red Sox. You see where Grady Little dropped him to 9th in the batting order yesterday against the lefty.
Well, he just wanted to have speed at the bottom of the order.
And he's hitting about 240. Johnny Damon, but Red Sox have the same record the A's have. Playing very well after a slow start.
Speaking of records, how about the Tigers winning the same number of games as the Yankees in May?
Is that right?
11 games.
Is that right?
That's how poorly the Yankees played. I couldn't believe it myself when I saw it.
The Yankees, after getting off to their 23-6 start, they almost had the exact same record as the A's. They're only a game better in the win column. They're 32-23. Mark Ellis pops one down the line and right, a foul ball, and it will land foul right off the tarp, the John Deere tarp here in Kansas City. Big news with the American League East today is Roger Clemens trying to win his 300th game. He was up big in Detroit, and the lead was trimmed down. Roger tries to become the 21st to win 300. Yankees, although they've been scuffling and they had the terrible month of May, Ray, they did beat the Red Sox 2 out of 3 in back-to-back series, and they still maintain that half-game edge on the Bostonians.
And the Blue Jays are for real. They're hitting attack. They won 21 games in May.
Yes, they did. Their best month ever, right? They went 21-8 in May after a 10-18 April. And the Blue Jays right there, Foss, just a couple back. By the way, the Clemens game now, it is 8-6 Yankees in the 7th. Clemens is out of the game, and the lefty Sterling Hitchcock is in for Joe Torre. Way in tight to Mark Ellis, who has taken the at-bat full now, 3-2 against Chris George. So Jermaine Dye will be on the move off first base. This will be the 97th pitch for Chris George. His last outing was by far the shortest of the year. Didn't go very well at all against Seattle. That's a comebacker, and he's got it by George. Ellis is out, and that's the inning. A leadoff walk to Dye. We played 5.5, 4-3 A's. Bulls Hall of Fame. Their great second baseman in the 1970s. 8-time Gold Glove winning Frank White, now the special assistant to their general manager here, Alan Baird, and one of only 3, along with Mr. Royal, George Brett, of course, and Dick Hauser. Dick Hauser, the underrated manager of the KC Royals. Got them their World Series championship in 1985. Barry Zito against Raul Ibanez here, jumps ahead a couple of strikes. Dick Hauser managed the Yankees before the Royals. Big curveball. Hauser, remember 1980, won 103 games, and George Steinbrenner fired and brought in Gene Michael. Ken Maka of the A's is the first manager in baseball since to inherit a 100-win team. The appeal, no swings, says Tim Timmons at third, 2-2.
And of course, the A's have increased their wins, what, the last 5 years?
Yeah.
Each of the last 5 years. So
can you keep it going?
Mark, it's 104, buddy.
It's pretty hot. Anya strikes out, and there's the first out here of the bottom of the 6th. Ken Korek is away this weekend. Congratulations to his daughter graduating from 8th grade on to high school. So with Ken away, Bill King needs a partner over on radio. And look who the A's have brought in. Mike McFarland, the former A. He's doing all the talking. Former A catcher in 98, 99, working with Bill King. Bill told him before the game, it's your show. Do whatever you want. I think Mike's taking that to heart. Mike's a terrific broadcaster now, working with ESPN. I didn't just say that here on Fox, did I? Ground ball to third. I apologize, Ted Briggs. No emails. Chavez throws out Beltran. I just said a 4-letter word.
No, I couldn't believe you said that. Well, you were just explaining. You're just explaining where Mike McFarland's working now.
You should always tell the truth, Ray. You just shouldn't always be telling the truth. Chavez with a nice play, throwing out Beltran 2-away. You got mail. Andy Lopez now. Ground ball. Chavez again. Same play. George Brett-like. And he throws out Lopez. 8-pitch, 1-2-3 for Zito. He is rolling. He's retired 10 in a row and leads 4-3 after 6. Well, the A's are the only folks in baseball referring to these what they actually are. They're not babushkas. They're Russian nesting dolls. And they're going to give them away on Saturday, June the 14th, when the A's take on the Montreal Expos. 105 first pitch. First 10,000 receiving. There they are, your big three Russian nesting dolls. I guess the correct word in Russian is matrishkas, but they didn't get a trademark on that. But babushka, that's a Russian scarf. I always thought it meant baby, but apparently it means grandmother. But in any event, pick that up, Ray.
And they gave away 15,000 George Brett's grandmothers yesterday.
What a woman. What a woman she is. Cloning. DJ Carrasco will take over for the Royals. They make a Nextel direct connect to the bullpen as they go from the lefty starter Chris George to the righty out of the bullpen. DJ, who was giving up a few big hits to the A's for the last couple of weekends. A's are going to send up a pinch hitter and keep that streak alive. Terrence Long not in the starting lineup for the second time in 3 games, with Jermaine Dye back, but he will come off the bench and keep his consecutive game streak alive, as he did on Friday night with this 3-run homer to get the A's back into the game at 9-6.
So see how easy the swing was. Just such a great easy swing, and it all exploded off his bat.
So see Long as the streak now up to 454 straight as he pops this one foul. Joe Randa comes over, but way into the crowd for a foul souvenir. The longest pinch hitting for Adam Pyatt, who winds up 1 for 2 today with a double, joining Billy McMillan on the A's bench. And A's have fortified their bench a bit, making some changes here on this road trip, Ray. And you want to have a deep bench, certainly, but even more so going into the National League Park, where you don't have the DH, and those figures if you fall behind, there's more pinch hitting involved.
And a decision Ken Maka has to make starting Tuesday in the National League Parks as far as Rubio Durazo and Scott Hatteberg. A couple of guys, one playing first, one DHing. No DH, of course.
It'll be based obviously on whatever matchups they have, as Long strikes out here against DJ Carrasco. Keep in mind, Rubio Durazo has somewhat of a track record against those guys, being a 4-year member of the Diamondbacks.
Breaking ball, good down or out of the strike zone to T. Long, and pitch that he has been susceptible to swing at pitches down and out of the strike zone. I think the turf might have an effect also in Philadelphia. Might keep Scott Hatteberg off of the turf a little because of his ankle, but I'm sure they'll each get plenty of time.
Well, they have that field turf, right, like they have in Tampa, St. Petersburg. 1-0 pitch to Eric Burns is fouled back. If you're just joining us today here on Fox Sports Net, Eric Burns wasted no time to extend the streak. He's wearing it right on his jersey. A 22-game hit streak for Burnsy as he opened the game with a leadoff home run. Here's a big breaking ball by Carrasco that misses up, and the count is 2-1. Count is 3-1 for Burns.
Watching some of the game yesterday, Lofton trying to extend his hitting streak, and it seemed like every pitch he saw he was swinging at. He didn't take hardly anything.
Burns takes a walk here, already having the 22-gamer. So a 1-out walk, and that'll bring up Scott Hatteberg, who used to catch Roger Clemens as a Red Sox. And look at this, the Tigers have rallied back against the Yankee bullpen to tie the game, and Roger will have to wait a bit longer now for number 300 on. Antonio Asuno is in the game for the Yankees. Yankees had a big lead in that game. It was cut to 8-6. It was 7-1 at one point.
Want to see the attendance in the game. Maybe because of Clemens going for 300, a packed house it looked like, and watching the beginning of the game, that maybe the Tigers fans will realize that their club can play some baseball and come out and support them.
As you noted, they're playing a heck of a lot better after their disastrous start. They're 14-39. Hatteberg fouls one out of play. Yeah, we're 2 months into the season now, so it's just about exactly a third of the way. 2 months out of 6 are done. Every team has played about 54 games, 55 games, which is the 1/3 mark in 162. And a lot of the early season surprises now are turning around. The Royals were the talk of baseball. 16-3 they were. And now they're only a game over 500. John Halama is pitching in the bullpen, although Halama is going to make the start, we are told by John himself, in Philadelphia next Saturday. He is available to pitch out of the bullpen today. Count is a ball and 2 strikes to Scott Hatteberg.
And the Royals outfield bunching towards the middle, giving a lot down the left and right field lines. See Ibanez off the line and left, same for Tucker and right.
There goes Burns, and he's got a stolen base without a throw as the ball rolled around on Mike DeFelice for Burns' 4th stolen base of the season.
There's a lot to be said about picking the time you're going to run with the pitch and the type of pitch. And Carrasco threw one of the dirt off speed pitch, and DeFelice could not handle it. And Burnsy in scoring position with just 1 out. It's a hitter's count. Hitter might get a fastball, which helps the catcher on a stolen base attempt, whereas in this case, more of a pitcher's count.
Hatteberg pulls one, base hit, right field. Michael Tucker charges, comes home with the throw, and Burns is out again. Michael Tucker threw out Hatteberg at the plate yesterday, and now he gets another A. And much speedier Burns with just 1 out, but he does try to come around, and he's the 2nd out of the inning at the plate.
You know, the thing that hurt Burnsy, it's a line drive. He did not know if the ball was cleanly going to be in right field, so he did not get a great jump. But as a third base coach, you don't see it. You see where the ball is hit. And Ron Washington, I guarantee you, did not know that Burnsy did not take off as soon as the ball was hit. But a strong throw again by Michael Tucker, right on line to Mike DeFelice. Had the plate blocked. That's how you block the plate. See where his left foot is? Get the corner of the plate, forcing the runner to go around you, and you can just take the ball and go with the runner and make the tag.
Well, Tucker gets another runner. He comes home quickly. That's the key to him. He charges the ball, comes home firing. Royals have picked up 3 assists from their outfield on this series. Tucker's got a couple of them. Here's Miguel Tejada now. Hatteberg did advance in the scoring position on the throw home after his single, so he's at 2nd. Tejada takes a breaking ball strike from Carrasco, who got a visit from Tony Pena when we were showing you the various replays on Burns trying to score. Miguel has a hitting streak that needs extending himself. He's walked in 3 trips, but no hits. Miguel, an 11-game hitting streak he brings into play today, and during this 11-game streak, he's hitting .325.
Right, the biggest difference right now for Scott Hatteberg, there's nobody holding him close. He can get a secondary, maybe even a 3rd lead off second base so that he can break.
Ground ball up the middle. There's Baroa. Got to make the throw now, and he does. So the A's will not score as Burns is tossed out at the plate by Michael Tucker. Hatteberg left stranded. We go to the bottom of the 7th after a stretch. 4-3. Zito and the A's lead in Kansas City. Last day of sports show period. They have a pretty good week coming up. 8 and 10 are the start times every weeknight here on Fox Sports Net. The commissioner of the NHL right during the Stanley Cup Finals will be dropping by, Mr. Bettman. Big win for the Mighty Ducks last night in overtime. One of the most exciting athletes. A great quarterback, the lefty of the Atlanta Falcons, Michael Vick, and the NBA Rookie of the Year, Amari Stoudemire, will also be on the best day in this week. 8 and 10 on Fox Sports Net. Terrence Long will play left field again, a spot he has to reacclimate to as he's going to play more and more left field after pinch hitting for Adam Pyatt. He takes over in left, Burns in center, and Jermaine Dye back in right field. Barry Zito threw 31 in the 1st and gave up those 3 runs. He's at 97 now, getting better and better. Did have a 16-pitch 5th, even though it was a 1-2-3. And Barry's had 3 straight 1-2-3 innings. He's retired 10 in a row in total. Halama still working in the bullpen, and the right-hander Chad Bradford also gets up. The submariner out in that left field. The bullpen cave out there. Michael Tucker takes a strike.
And without the pitch count, Barry Zito could go deeper into this game. He is pitching much better now than he was in the early game, especially the first.
They're putting Halama in the bullpen to give them a couple of lefties. Ricardo Rincon, of course, is available, and Halama, though, will make the start in Philadelphia next Saturday at the Vet, the next time the A's need their quote-unquote fifth starter. John had a short outing Wednesday afternoon in Minneapolis. Michael Tucker fouls one back on a 3-1 pitch. The count goes full now. Tucker, Baroa, DeFelice. Lower third in the batting order. Zito has handled each of these three. And we'll get Tucker now for a third time. Hatteberg himself will beat Tucker. 1 out. Zito's retired 11 in a row.
Scott Hatteberg taking the bag himself. And it's something Ron Washington was talking to him about, that anytime you can take the ball yourself without feeding the ball, that's one less throw that has to be made. Playing deep, but catches the ball and then hustles, even though Tucker, good speed, decides to take it himself. And that's always a better idea. Gets him by a step, but avoids the throw, and the pitcher having to catch the bag at the same time in some cases. Look how deep he's playing. 2 strikes on Tucker, no threat, and Zito's there, but peels off, and Hatteberg takes him himself. Good idea.
Baroa shows bunt, takes a strike. It's helpful to have a good athlete over at first base. Hatteberg is, compared to most first basemen around baseball, he's a smaller guy, and he moves around a little quicker, a little better. And he's learned that position. Think about how far he has come since the start of last year. Baroa takes it at the count 2-1. That one just missed, says the plate umpire Matt Hollowell. Ramon moves away, and Baroa lifts this one. Terrence Long in left, get a retreat. Wynn get a carry it to the wall. Long will make the catch right against the screen. The chain link fence. That ball got a lot of carry to left field.
Boy, you could just feel a gust of wind pick up just as the ball went in the air. And Terrence Long, playing right field yesterday, lost the ball off Desi Relaford's bat in the sun. This one tracked it nicely, found out how close he was, did not need his sunglasses, and catch the ball. Wow, it really traveled.
Mike DeFelice struck out his first time up and then lined out to short. He is 0 for 2. Brett May not in the lineup today, as we noted. He's been bothered by the flu. He did start yesterday against the lefty Lilly, but not in against his good buddy Barry Zito. They spent part of the offseason this year surfing in a little tiny island off of Fiji. It was Barry Zito, Ryan Plesko, and Brett May. There's a base hit for DeFelice. Well, that'll break it up. Zito had retired a dozen Royals in a row before DeFelice rolls a single through with 2 outs.
Ken Maka, it's like he is debating whether to make a move or not.
Enters Desi Rutherford, Ray.
Talking to Rick Peterson, just a question, lefty or righty. Who he wants to face Rutherford, which he turns around to bat left or right.
Now here comes Rick Peterson. Rutherford on the stat sheet here is a much better hitter against right-handed or hitting right-handed against left-handed pitching. Over 400 against lefties. So they would go to Bradford if they make the move here, but it looks like Zito's going to stay in the game. Don't forget to buy an A's mini plan today and see the Yankees free. How does that work out? See 4 exciting games, including Mark Mulder bobblehead all day, the August 30th fireworks show, and the August the 1st game against the Yankees is free. You pick the other 5 games. Sounds like a deal. OaklandAthletics.com. Get there immediately or call 510-638-GO A's. Now Peterson visits. Zito will face Rutherford. On deck is Randa and then Sweeney. Back-to-back right-handers. Now this may be Zito's last batter of the game, no matter how it turns out. Barry threw 116 pitches Tuesday in Minneapolis. He's gotten Desi out twice, walked him to open the game on 4 pitches. Ground ball, that'll bounce through. To third goes DeFelice. Now going to gun it that way. Going to have a play. He's safe. He's safe. DeFelice got around the tag of Chavez to keep the inning alive.
What a strong throw by Jermaine Dye, and no doubt he is back. Swinging the bat well and making a strong throw. Again, Rutherford going against the defense. And DeFelice really taking a chance. Quick tag by Eric Chavez. He thought he got him, but Tim Timmons said the foot was in first. Right on line is a throw from Jermaine Dye. The tag, did he get him? Is he too high? I think the foot was on the bag. Xavi tagged him high.
And that will be it. Barry Zito will yield to Chad Bradford, with the Royals sending up back-to-back right-handers. So he retired 12 in a row, then yields a couple of 2-out singles here. Bradford comes in. He's up by a run in the 7th. Barry Zito gives up 3 runs to the first 4 hitters he faces today, but no more beyond. He had retired 12 in a row, and then DeFelice a 2-out single. Then Desi Rutherford, this base hit to right, and Dye with a great throw almost nails DeFelice. Foss, but a nice slide.
Watch the foot. Watch the left foot in, as Xavi tagged him on the around the kneecap. And a good slide by DeFelice. Otherwise, he is out. And he goes feet first, which probably is the key, because he got to the bag quicker. Zito thinks he got it. He was hoping he got him, but he didn't.
Barry 31 pitches in the first in those 3 runs scoring, and that's why he does not get deeper into the game. But he throws a very solid 6 2/3, and now it's up to Chad Bradford and the A's bullpen. 4-3 A's. Bradford makes his 23rd appearance of the year. Joe Randa, the batter, lurking on deck. Mike Sweeney. Randa takes a strike. Randa really struggling overall. He is 0 for 3 today, and in the depths of a very lengthy slump. Randa, very consistent hitter throughout his career, and he's got a chance to tie the game or put him ahead. DeFelice at third, Rutherford at first. Rand has always been a very consistent run producer. He's had some big RBI years. In 2000, he drove in 106 runs for the Royals, and he's had right around 80 the last couple of years. A little off that pace with just 22 RBIs the first third of the year, and this is a big reason why he's not coming through with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Just 3 hits on the year. 1-1 pitch, up and away. The frisbee misses. 2-1.
Tony Pena probably looking at first and third, thinking if he had Desi Rutherford at third and DeFelice at first, he might try to do something, but speed is in the wrong location right now for him. And Bradford knows that Randa is the key guy, because Mike Sweeney, a very tough hitter in the on-deck circle. I'd rather try to get Randa out here.
Randa to right, base hit, ties the game. Zito won't win.
And now he's hoping that Chad Bradford can get out Mike Sweeney so it can keep it a tie game. Just excellent hitting again. Randa and Sweeney did this yesterday. Pitches away, and when you're struggling, the last thing you want to try to do is pull an outside fastball. And Randa went with it perfectly.
Rick Peterson, the A's pitching coach, comes out of the dugout. You mentioned Randa's base hit against Keith Folk late in the game yesterday, Ray, and base hit to bring in a run. Miranda now beginning to swing the bat a little better the last couple of days, and that's a huge hit. Ricardo Rincon gets up. He's preparing for Raul Ibanez and then Carlos Beltran. They are going to follow, though, in the batting order, Mike Sweeney. And here's the most dangerous hitter in all of Kansas City. Three-time All-Star Sweeney. It was 2 for 3 today. He is red hot. He has pushed his average up over 300.
And all is starting with 2 outs. Barry Zito, 2 quick outs. Ground ball to first, fly ball to left, and 3 singles in succession.
Sweeney takes a strike.
And if had it not been for DeFelice going to third on the base hit, he wouldn't have scored on Randa's base hit. The ball was hit too hard to right and with Dye's arm. So his hustle gets him to third and able to score.
Lays off the frisbee outside, and the count is a ball and a strike. Sweeney will take that pitch, outside pitch. He'll slap it to right. He is not really a home run hitter. He hits a lot of home runs, or a good enough amount, but he's just a good line drive hitter. Hits the ball where it's pitched. And he is a run producer. Drove in 144 runs in 2000. Second most in the league. And he fouls this one off. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Looked like he was trying to punch the ball to right field right there.
Yeah. Inside out the swing. And even though it's very tough for Mark Ellis to even consider of shading him more, almost like a left-handed pull hitter, I think in this situation you try to cheat a little bit. So where Ellis is playing, look at the hole, even with Hatterberg off the bag at first. Still very inviting for a right-hander who goes so well that way.
Relaford runs very well. Runner at second base. Pitch in now. Sweeney takes it 2-2. Now Bradford would like to get Sweeney here on 2-2 and not have to throw him a full count pitch where the runners can break. Struck him out. Sweeney misses it, and Bradford gets him on the 2-2 pitch. So Bradford gives up the game tying hit, but strikes out Sweeney. 4-4 after 7. Mr. Ray Fosse, Greg Papa with you in Kansas City, Missouri, the show me state. This guy's checking for himself. As we go to the 8th, it's a tie game now. He's led 1-0 on the Burns leadoff homer. Royals came back with 3 against Zito in the bottom of the first. A's came back with 3 in the third to go up 4-3-2 on the homer by Chavez. But the Royals tie it in the bottom of the 7th. And here is Rick DeHart, who the A's saw the first game of the series. Made his first appearance in the major league since '99 when he's a member of the Montreal Expos. He's back, and he's going to face a Rubiel Durazo. DeHart was just called up this past week from AAA Omaha. He's the only lefty in the Royal bullpen. So that's why he's in to face Durazo. Dye on deck, and then Chavez. So he'll face 2 out of 3 lefties to start. Lefty Chris George went the first 6. Righty DJ Carrasco went the 7th. Now it's DeHart. Durazo to center field. Carlos Beltran racing back. That's going over his head. He plays it well, though. Ruby's got to hustle to second base. He'll make it standing, stumbling a bit, but he gets there. So Durazo opens the 8th with a double to dead center field.
Durazo showing tremendous power, and when you see the center fielder turn his back and give up on the ball, you know it's been smoked. Kept the shoulder in, and we just keep saying it because he does such a great job. And Beltran just hoping as the ball comes off the wall that he make a strong throw and get Ruby at second. A good hustle, stand up double. Wow, some kind of strength.
Mongo. From the movie Blazing Saddles, a few of his teammates have dubbed him Mongo or Ruby. Here's Jermaine Dye, who picked up a sac fly. And Jermaine, a perfect game, a single, a sac fly, and a walk today. Now in this situation, he'd like, obviously, to move Durazo along over to third base, Ray, but he just wants to swing his big bat.
Well, he's not getting pitches to try to hit to the right side. A couple of fastballs missing badly inside.
And here comes DeFelice. DeHart may be trying too hard to bring the ball in so he can't go the other way, that he's out of the strike zone.
Well, the double also for Tony Pena. He's got Grimsley, the right-hander, in the bullpen, but he also knows that Chavez, the left-hander, is in the on-deck circle. So it's the beauty of having alternating lefty-righties in the lineup.
Going to see Jason Grimsley again?
Of course.
Dye lifts this one to right field. Durazo will tag. Tucker getting lined up, makes the catch. Durazo goes to third, and he makes it. Very good base running.
And very good hitting.
Durazo. And that'll bring out Eric Chavez, who picked up a huge 2-run homer back in the 3rd to give the A's the lead. It's our Chevy drive of the game.
Well, a strong hit from Eric Chavez. George made a mistake, and Xavi just looked. He knew it had the distance. He just wanted to make sure it did not hook too quickly.
Eric's 10th homer of the season, his 3rd off a lefty. That was off of Chris George. Yeah, so half of his 6 hits against lefties this year have been home runs. Infield in now.
And Xavi right now would take a hit or a way to get the runner in from third. Probably be a lot happier than even hitting the 2-run home run, which gave the A's the lead. This also, if he could find a way to get Durazo in, would give the A's the lead.
Ball gets away, but not far enough. DeFelice checking out Durazo as he picks up the rolling ball. DeFelice, always known as a very good defensive catcher, has been swinging the bat surprisingly well this first year as a member of the KC Royals. He was a Cardinal down Highway 70 last year, Diamondback before that, and before that a Tampa Bay Devil Ray, and actually came up with the Cardinals. Chavez to second base. Rutherford just throws too well, so Chavez unable to bring in the run. Durazo stays at third. 2 outs.
And now Tony Pena will make the move.
He will bring in Jason Everyday Grimsley. At least every day against the A's. So Chavez unable to bring in the go-ahead run. Grimsley will come in to face the right-hander, Ramon Hernandez. A's have the go-ahead run over at third base in the person of Durazo. Can they get him in here in the 8th inning? To break this tie, as they're 4-4 with the Royals. Would you like a necktie, dads? We got a way for you to pick it up. Father's Day, June the 15th. Actually, you don't have to be a dad. Just the first 7,500 men to arrive nice and early when the A's take on the Expos coming up. June the 15th, they'll take home a necktie, A's necktie, courtesy of Macy's. 510-762 ball or OaklandAthletics.com to tie one on. Jason Grimsley, we've seen him each game on this series. He was good yesterday. He had a 1-2-3 7th. Not so good the first 2 games. Walked a couple on Thursday night and was hit around a little bit on Friday night. Got a couple outs. Gave up 4 hits and 2 runs. Here's a big at-bat, Ray, for one. Ramon Hernandez gets ahead 1-0.
Well, and just think right field like he did yesterday when he hit what looked like an RBI single to right, but a strong throw by Tucker, who once again did it today. Outfield assists by the Royals in 3 games of the first 4 have been great.
A's don't want to waste a leadoff double here. Durazo crunched one to center off the wall to open the inning. The dive flies to right. Durazo able to tag and get to third, but then Chavez with the infield in. Bounced out to second. Now they got to bring in the run with 2 outs. Ramon gets ahead though. 2 balls and no strikes. Here's one to right field, a base hit, and the A's have the lead back. Durazo comes down to score, and it's 5-4 A's.
Is that Chavez running out to congratulate? No, he's going to wait till he comes back in the dugout. But boy, when you're a hitter and you don't get the job done, you're cheering. Come on, Raymond, do it. And great inside out swing, huge hole on the right side, and he does it. Outstanding hitting by Hernandez. Didn't have to worry about the runner scoring from second this time.
Well, that's a big run for the Oakland A's to reclaim the lead now. Mark Ellis hitless again today, struck out, popped out, and hit a comebacker. All against the starter Chris George. Gets a look at Grimsley. Grimsley falling behind, and it's 2-0.
Greg, you think about the Ramon Hernandez base hit. It was 2-0 count, and a lot of times we've seen Ramon with a 2-0 count thinking, I'm going to hit a fastball and I'm going to try to hit the ball hard to left field, try to pull it in the seats, but instead he takes it to the opposite field. That is just smart hitting. So much better for him with a short swing.
Grimsley now 2-0 to Ellis, missing. Crowd beginning to moan and groan a little bit as Grimsley has had some inconsistency this year. And they've got Brad Voiles up in the bullpen. He was just brought up from AAA like Rick DeHart. On Wednesday they made 6 different transactions on Wednesday. Strike on a 3-0 pitch. A lot of rumors that the Yankees are trying to reacquire Jason Grimsley. He was a Yankee in 1999 and 2000 and won a couple of World Series rings with them. There's a walk though. So he gives up the tie-breaking base hit by Ramon Hernandez, follows it up by walking Mark Ellis.
The left fielder, Terrence Long.
Not many relievers are asked to work 4 straight days, but Jason Grimsley has appeared in every game on this series. Threw 13 pitches Thursday, 14 Friday, and yesterday afternoon he threw only 9, so the pitch totals have been low.
Still has to warm up to come in.
Yeah, they'd have to factor that in. You're right. There's a strike to Terrence Long.
Tony Pena was talking about his closer Mike McDougall. He said he sent him the winter ball to make sure, since he's going to be a closer, to pitch 3 days in a row. He said he came back and could pitch 4 days in a row, so maybe that's the way they build up their arm strength. A's hope that he stays right there today. Big, hard throwing right-hander.
Terrence Long, 1 ball, 1 strike. Terrence faced McDougall on Friday night. Got one of those changeups that wound up on the screen. He threw 3 changeups on Friday night, and they wound up on the backstop. 1-1 to T. Long. It's in the hole. A base hit again. Coming around, Ramon Hernandez. Tucker will hold the ball. Ramon will score standing. The A's strike for 2 here in the 8th against Jason Grimsley, who was hearing it. And they have a 6-4 lead. Ramon, a big base hit, followed by Terrence Long. And that's going to be it now. Tony Pena will make the change. So Jason Grimsley appears all 4 games this weekend against the A's. 3 of the 4 were not very good outings at all. Tony trying to pick him up, but he is going to make the change as he will bring in Brad Voiles out of the bullpen. The A's have the lead back. 2 here in the 8th so far, and they're up 6-4 in KC. He's even without a hitting coach, Ray, are swinging the bats on this series. Eric Burns opens the game with a homer, 3rd career leadoff homer. Hit streak 22. Eric Chavez off the left. He smokes one. give the A's the lead. Then after it was tied, the A's come right back here in the 8th. Ramon Hernandez, a big base hit to bring in Ruby.
Well, great opposite field hit in there, and then T. Long another 2-out RBI single.
Ramon's base hit. Got it all going here in the inning, though. Check out the Jack in the Box game summary. The A's have struck for a half dozen runs again. They scored 7 yesterday. They had 6 even in losing on Friday night. They scored a half dozen. They scored 6 on Thursday. And even in losing the finale in Minneapolis on Wednesday, they scored 5. So very quietly, the A's bats are beginning to bust out.
And you know it was going to happen. And it's
Eric Burns straight up in the silo. Angel Baroa will call for the fair catch. Should make it right in the middle of the diamond. The A's get 2. Ramon Hernandez a 2-out knock, and T. Long another. We go to the bottom of the 8th. 6-4 A's. Any given Sunday, not such a great film, but a pretty good theme here on A's television. Last 3 weeks we brought you some comebacks. He's down 3-1. They're a little mild, but they do score 2 in the 8th to break the tie, go up 6-4. Of course, last Sunday a stunner, and the Sunday before in Cleveland even more shocking. A's down 5-0, come back to win at the Jake 8-5. This guy's set to go here. A's 6 outs away. We'll start the bottom of the 8th with a pitching change. Ricardo Rincon will come in, lefty on lefty, as Rico makes his 20th appearance of the year. He'll face Raul Ibanez to start. Switch hitting Carlos Beltran. And Mendy Lopez schedule. There's a strike. Ibanez tripled in the Royals' first 2 runs. Hit a drive that carried all the way to the wall. Avoided the glove of Adam Pyatt up against the wall.
90-mile-an-hour fastball, 84-mile-an-hour slider from Rincon. Biden is going to try to go to the opposite field as Rincon staying away from him, and Hernandez emphasizing get the ball away. Try to get him to chase the slider.
Just missed. Matt Hollowell behind the plate. Rincon making his 2nd appearance of the weekend here at Kansas City. Worked on Friday night. Comes in tight, misses. 2-2. Rincon got Ibanez to fly out to right on Friday night, but then later on gave up the big double to Michael Tucker as they added a couple of runs. 9-6 game became 11-6. Ibanez fights that one off, flips it foul. A's are going to fly to Florida after the game. The Royals begin interleague play on Tuesday night at Dodger Stadium. They'll play the Dodgers for 3, then go to Denver next weekend. Strike 3 called. Ricardo Rincon, a huge strikeout to open the 8th. Gets Raul Ibanez looking.
The 0-2 slider away, but look where this starts. Starts more at him, buckles his knees, catches the middle to the inside part of the plate. Not the slider away from Ibanez that Hernandez wanted him to chase 0-2. Good pitching by Rincon.
Now the switch hitting Beltran. Ken Maka wants to make sure Beltran bats right-handed, where he's been struggling this year. Not nearly as strong from this side as the other side. Strike.
He ducked under it, and fans thinking the ball is a little too high, but Ken Maka had been waiting so long to become a manager, never knew all these other things go along with it.
That's why it's the hot seat.
I think he's happy his hair was the color before he started.
That's a base hit. Beltran past Chavez. So Beltran a 1-out single here in the 8th. That'll bring on Mendy Lopez.
That is Jim Messier throwing in the A's bullpen, which he pitched yesterday.
Well, that's surprising. We just spoke to him last night, and he made it pretty clear that he's unable to pitch back-to-back days. He was the winning pitcher yesterday, but I don't know if he's just working the bullpen or if he's preparing to come into the game. Either way, it's a good sign that he's even up and throwing. Mendy Lopez against Barry Zito today, hitless. Popped to second, grounded to short, and grounded to third. Strike.
Well, maybe a little bit in the upper part, but again, that's the pitch umpires are calling. Rather give you the high or low strike versus the wide strike.
Strike two. Lopez not happy with either one of those calls by Hollowell as he backs out. Struck him out. Boy, Rincon looks sharp today. Strikes out Ibanez to open the inning. Now gets Lopez for the second out.
Backdoor slider starts away and down, and Lopez swung right over. Now want to take a chance starting at middle of the plate and go in and leave it up to where the right-hander, as he opened up, could pull the ball. And good backdoor slider.
Michael Tucker. He is fly to left, grounded out to short. A great play by Miguel Tejada, and then he bounced out to Hatteberg. Unassisted runner takes off. Pitch taken for a strike. Throw bounces into center. Jumping up and going to third is Beltran. Royals with 3 stolen bases today. Foss Beltran has 2 of them.
Ramon again bounced the ball third time, and Miguel thought he had a play, so he was going to try to scoop it, but in this instance should have just gotten his body in front of it to block it. It's going to be very tough to scoop a ball, and Beltran had such a great jump anyway. He's going to steal it.
It's his 10th stolen base of the year. He's 10 of 11 now, and he goes to third. Rick Peterson pays a visit to Rincon. It was a strike on the first pitch to Michael Tucker, so it's 0-1. Time is up. Final Jeopardy. Six to 4. Royals have a potential 5th run over third base. Tucker slowly hit ball right to Mark Ellis, though. And that'll be the inning. Ricardo Rincon, a good outing out of the bullpen. We go to the 9th in KC. The A's up 6 to 4. 9th with the A's up 6 to 4, trying to show them here in Missouri and win 3 out of 4. And the A's will fly to South Florida right after the game. Tuesday night on Action 36 Cable 6, and we'll have the games Wednesday and Thursday from Pro Player for you right here on Fox Sports Net. All the games from Florida beginning at 4 o'clock. Brad Voiles to Scott Hatteberg, and there's ball 1. Pitching matchups for the Florida series. Ken Maka goes with Mulder, Hudson, and Lilly. And Jack McKean, one-time manager of the A's, now the Marlins manager after replacing Jeff Torborg, will go with Brad Penny, Mark Redmond, and the lefty from Encinal, Dontrell Willis. Hatteberg gets ahead in the count 3-0 against Voiles. Scotty a single his last time up. Here's a strike. Here's one struck to center, but Beltran there, 1 out. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th. Keith Folk will pitch it. Angel Baroa scheduled to lead off for the Royals, then Mike DeFelice, although they do have Brent Maine as a possible pinch hitter among others.
And like yesterday, Folk will be coming in with at least a 2-run lead.
Then Desi Rutherford is scheduled, and anybody gets on base, Randa. This one is popped up by Miguel Tejada. Foul ground. Here is Randa, the Royal third baseman. He's got it. 2 outs.
Miguel Tejada a walk, but 0 for 4. And the A's don't want to see extra innings to give him a chance.
So the 11-game hit streak may be over today. Did draw a walk, and he scored a run on the sac fly by Dye. Rubio Durazo with one of the game's big hits. He had a couple. He actually singled after Tejada walked, and that pushed Tejada to third, and then he scored on Dye's sac fly. But after the Royals came back to tie the game at 4, Rubio Durazo led off the top of the 8th with a double to dead center off of Rick DeHart, the lefty, out of the bullpen, and then he scored on Ramon Hernandez 2-out single to make it 5-4. So 2 hits and 2 runs scored for Durazo today. Pulls this one just foul, wide of Mendy Lopez down the line.
It's great to see Durazo making the adjustments. Of course, in the American League for the first time, and came right out of the chute first game, hitting an opposite field home run, a big night, and no doubt scouting reports pitch him accordingly, and he has made adjustments where he's got pitches in and been able to pull them. And I think more than anything, he's kept the opposing teams kind of not knowing how to pitch him because he has adjusted so well.
Yeah, he'll be back in the National League for a brief spell here, right, with interleague play starting on Tuesday. And he'll have some career numbers to look at against these Marlin pitchers, as will Scott Hatteberg. Being a member of the Red Sox in the American League East, he has played some of these National League East teams.
I think just as important to be able to maybe give a scouting report on some of the pitchers if they're familiar with them. Durazo probably more so, well, maybe than Hatteberg, although Hattie was here last year. But any help you can get, especially in interleague, it's beneficial.
DeFelice wants a fastball, and that's not a good one. Bounced by Boyles. Boyles has a very good curveball, and he walks Durazo there with a couple of outs, and now face Jermaine Dye.
I think for Dan Feinstein, his video coordinator, is a walk and a backhanded attempt by DeFelice. I was thinking about the Montreal Expos. They're having a tough time getting some video on them because they're not televising games. And I think the Rangers, when they play them in San Juan, someone said the Rangers aren't even televising, which I find hard to believe because it seems they televise every game. Adam Roden back at the Coliseum doing a lot of videotaping and of the National League teams. So Dan Feinstein is doing it here. Has a crew back at the Coliseum putting together all the tapes.
They find a way to get it done, and the A's pretty good against the National Leaguers. Dye grounds out. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Keith Fulp will try to close it out and get the A's a 6-4 win in KC. The hit streak to 22. Now they're going to watch him play left field. Bernsey was in center. Now he's in left. Singleton enters the game. They play in center, and T. Long, who was in left, now goes to right. So Ken Maka mixing and matching. Burns in left, Singleton center, Long in right. And with the A's up 6-4, bottom of the 9th, it's time for the folk hero, the A's closer. Keith will try to pick up his 14th save of the year. Glittering numbers, 3-0, 13-15, ERA at 2.25. And to work a little bit extra for a save yesterday, gave up 3 hits, one that was lost by Terrence Long in right field. He'll face Angel Baroa to start. And he works him off the corner for a ball. Polk struck out Baroa to start the 9th yesterday.
And ideally, you'd like to have a 1-2-3 inning. Because if you turn it over to the top of the batting order, then you start getting the Randa, Sweeney, Ibanez, Beltran part of the lineup. You don't want to do that.
Don't want Sweeney up again.
No.
Here's a strike. It's the same part of the batting order he came into face yesterday. Got Baroa out, got Maine out, and then ball was lost by Long, and Randa came up with a hit, and Sweeney did bat. And he came up with a hit before Harvey lined out to Miguel to win the game. That's up and away. Baroa, not the most patient of hitters, but knowing his club is down 2 runs, is trying to get on. 3-1. And he fouls it back. They start him young here in Kansas City. The rally t-shirts. 3-2. Straight back again. Ball hit to center, right at Chris Singleton. He'll take it for the first out of the bottom of the 9th.
Make him swing the bat. That's important. And of course, opposing teams, especially the teams in the Central who are familiar and seeing Keith Folk, know that he's going to be in the strike zone.
Mike DeFelice singled his last time up. That broke the string of 12 consecutive Royals retired by Zito. Then they came up with another hit, and after Zito was knocked out, Bradford gave up the game tying hit to Randa to deprive Zito a chance to win today. But one of the big outs is when he got Sweeney out to keep it at 4, and the A's came right back to score 2 in the 8th. One fouled back, and Folk gets ahead, a ball and 2 strikes. Eric Chavez, a huge 2-run homer to give the A's the lead, and it's now done in Minneapolis. The Mariners win that game again. They sweep that series. Well, that's impressive. Seattle goes into the Dome and wins all 4 after winning 2 here. Well, they're 6-0 on their 2-week odyssey.
Yep.
Now, where are they going? The A's are off to Florida and Philadelphia next week. Are they doing the same thing in inverted order?
I think we're following each other all the way.
Boy, they're going to Philly and Florida? Yeah, they are.
Except their rivalry is, what, San Diego? And
that's a huge rival. They get all worked up in the Pacific Northwest. Whenever they see Bruce Bochy, they go nuts in Seattle. The Mariners against the American League Central this year, 24-6. 2-2 pitch. DeFelice, a stubborn AB.
Well, it says something about DeFelice and the way he's swinging the bat. Tony Pena against the right-hander did not pinch hit Brett Maine. Maine are coming off of a couple, 2 or 3 days of the flu, not swinging as well, and DeFelice hitting at 292.
Another foul ball. So the A's need this victory here in KC to stay 5 behind the surging Mariners. A's and Mariners were tied after 40 games, 25 and 15 apiece. And the A's went to Cleveland for that weekend and lost the first two. Mariners have gone 12 and 3 since, including their win today. The A's 6 and 8, pending the outcome of this one. Closer to 7 and 8 as Polk strikes out DeFelice. Crowd not liking Matt Hollowell's decision. 2 away.
Looking away, and he's just snuck the fastball inside corner, and it's called tremendous control by Keith Folk to nail the inside part. He stayed away with breaking pitches and fastballs, and DeFelice arguing, but excellent pitch thrown by the right-hander. Guarantee if he was catching, he would want it. But as a hitter, it's a whole different story.
One more out to get. Desi Relaford. Strike. Desi hit that towering drive to right yesterday that T. Long lost. And it wound up going as a triple. And it was off of Keith Folk at a pinch hitting appearance in the 9th. Where'd that miss? Boy, he hit the spot exactly.
It was a 1/4 inch off the outside plate.
1/4 inch, that much.
Yeah. That's why
Where's
they don't call it.
Tech when we need it?
They don't call it.
No,
that's the reason they're not calling it, because
no Tech here. Now it's 2-1. Now look at this pitch. This is a strike, folks. Look what Ramon sets up. That not a strike? 1/4 inch, huh?
Yeah, just that's about it.
So Ramon moves in more than a 1/4 inch. Relaford slaps it foul. Now the A's are a strike away. Count is 2-2, trying to win 3 out of 4 here after losing the first 2 of this 2-week trek, the A's longest road trip in a couple of years in Minneapolis. Royal loss would drop them to 500. 27 and 27 they would be if Rick Peterson gets one more pitch here from Keith Folk in the right spot. Nope, too far away. 3-2. Randa on deck. Eric Chavez with his 10th homer of the year. Randa on deck. If Relaford gets on base, that would move Sweeney on deck. Relaford down the line in right field and foul. Caught though.
Well, the confidence Keith Folk has in his changeup. Barry Zito struck out Relaford from the right side back in the 5th on a 3-2 changeup. Folk tried to do the same here in the 9th.
Sweeney in the hole. The ace in the hole for Tony Pena. 3-2 to Desi. Ground ball to Tejada. He's got it. And the A's win 3 out of 4 in Kansas City. A rough weekend overall at times for Ken Mock and the A's, but on the field they take 3 of 4 and even up their record on this road trip now to 3-3. Eric Chavez a huge home run. And the KC Royals, after a 16-3 start, are right at sea level now, 27 and 27, while the A's go to 9 over at 32 and 23. We'll come back. A's win it in KC by the score of 6-4 to win 3 of 4. Outstanding weekend for the A's here in Kansas City. They win today by a score of 6-4, and they win 3 out of 4. And go 3-3 on the trip now and head off to Florida. Greg Papa, Ray Fosse back with you. I have lost a broadcast partner. Just the 2 of us alone. Of course, we had Jermaine Dye with us in Cleveland, but Jermaine Dye has been reactivated, made his return here on Friday, and came up with a sac fly and a hit today. And JD joins us downstairs. How did it feel your first couple of games back?
Well, yesterday it was pretty tough on me. I had a lot of adrenaline going, and kind of settled down late in the ball game. But today I just came out relaxed and had a chance to sit on the bench yesterday and relax a little bit and let my knee calm down a little bit, and came out today and had a pretty good day.
Jermaine, you were saying after the ball game, your first and coming back, everything was just kind of whirling around because of just coming back. What did it take for you to settle down today, especially maybe getting the first hit?
Well, just to get back with the players and get out here and get a couple innings under my belt and get back in the feel of the ball game. And you know, once you do that, you know, it's smooth sailing after that. You just go out and play the game and react to it.
You got the first hit the first time up, and a big sac fly the next time up. And was it special to come back here and play in Kansas City? You were talking earlier about how this is just another ballpark, but it must be nice to come back to Kauffman Stadium.
Oh yes, definitely. This is a great ballpark, great fans out here, and you could see it this year. They're you know, got a team that got off to a great start, and they're playing really well, and the fans appreciate that, and they're coming out and supporting them. And you know, for me coming back here, you know, I had a great couple years here, and I really enjoyed it and made it my home for about 4 years. And you know, it's always great to see, you know, all your friends and people that you knew here at the ballpark.
Jermaine, Greg was talking about your sacrifice fly, but I thought in the 8th inning, after Rubio Durazo hit the leadoff double, you made a conscious effort to hit the ball to the right side. You hit the ball in the air, but coming back, how tough was that, especially maybe after the first 2 pitches inside, but yet you did get it deep enough to right field?
Well, you know your job and what you need to do in that situation, and that was a big inning for us, and we needed to get that run in. And all I want to do is try to get a pitch out over the plate that I can hit the other way, and hopefully, you know, hit a ground ball over that way or drive it to the outfield. And I did a great job of doing that, and Ramon came up with a big hit for us.
Yes, he did, with 2 outs to get you guys a nice victory today. J.D., welcome back to Kansas City in the A's lineup. Good to see you again.
All right, thanks, guys.
Jermaine Dye had a very good weekend here in Kansas City, Ray. The A's win 3 out of 4. I think it was important to get this game today. It was a 4-4 tie after the base hit Bradford gave up, and the A's have had some tough times in close games like this, but able to execute and get in the big hit from Ramon to reclaim the lead there.
You know, Greg, after the big loss on Friday, they tried to come back, could not do it, but did it yesterday. They came back to win, coming back again today, and it definitely helps a ball club when you're down and you see yourself come back and win ball games, especially late in the game. That really pumps them up, and I'm sure they're going to enjoy the off day tomorrow because of it.
Off day in South Florida. The A's are going to fly to Fort Lauderdale, and they'll stay just a little bit north of Miami, and we'll greet you again on Tuesday night from Pro Player Stadium. We're halfway through this 2-week road trip, but a couple of more stops to go, as the A's will be a Pro Player on Tuesday night. Join us for our next broadcast on Action 36 Cable 6 Tuesday. Mark Mulder will pitch against Brad Penny, and we'll come back with you on Wednesday and Thursday here on Fox Sports Net, as Tim Hudson will face lefty Mark Redmond of the Florida Marlins on Wednesday night at 4 o'clock. Beyond the Glory, featuring Alonzo Mourning, comes your way next. For Ray Fosse, I'm Greg Papa saying so long from Kansas City. You've been watching Oakland A's baseball on Fox Sports Net.